So, now that Modern Warfare has been out for almost a few weeks at this point, we are really starting to get a hang of the overall meta in the game, aka the playstyles that are favored, which weapons are the most effective to use, so on and so forth. And while this is a game that offers a ton of stuff to do, from beating the campaign, to grinding out weapon camos and general levels in multiplayer, to attempting to play Spec Ops, there's also been a lot of criticism surrounding the game and the various elements within it. The community so far has been very vocal about what they think is wrong with this game, and I for one definitely think there are some big improvements that can be made. This game has so much potential in my own opinion, but I don't think it can maximize that potential without certain changes and updates being made as soon as possible. So today we're breaking down 11 things that I think need changed in Modern Warfare. Before we jump into that though, if you are new here, we've got all the latest Call of Duty news and intel going up each and every day. So if that's your thing, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know when a new video goes live. And of course, if you enjoy this one, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And now let's get into some major changes and updates that could seriously help Modern Warfare become a better game. Now, I do want to say I've seen a ton of people saying this needs fixed or that's so broken, and that is pretty much all they say. They offer a complaint, but they don't offer any solution. And that's not really going to get us anywhere in the long run. So with this list today, I want to not only try to pinpoint certain problems with the game, but I do also want to offer solutions to each of them as well, in the off chance that maybe a dev from Infinity Ward actually sees this and we're able to make a positive impact on the game. First and foremost, we have to talk about dead silence, as this has easily been the most popular conversation when it comes to what needs to be changed. Dead silence as a field upgrade, in my mind, just doesn't really work, especially when the field upgrade itself doesn't really make you silent all the time. And I know for a fact that the pro players are all pretty much on board with that statement too. In my opinion, dead silence would be a much better feature in the game if it were placed into the perk 2 category. That way you could always have it active, and it would also take away from Ghost being such a crutch perk in its current state. I think as of right now, the go-to perks are definitely EOD in perk 1 and Ghost in perk 2. Frankly, perk 3 doesn't really have anything that is incredibly beneficial, and I also think that because of that, some people would then resort to saying, well, why don't they just put dead silence into perk 3? And truthfully, I don't think that would be the best solution either, because then everyone, and I mean literally everyone, would be running EOD, Ghost, and dead silence, and there would be little to no perk variety. So having Ghost and Dead Silence in the same tier would then force players to choose between one or the other, or to run Specialist, that way they could unlock both by going on a kill streak. Now, if that idea were to be put into play, you'd have to choose between having silent footsteps or staying off the radar, unless of course you had Specialist on. And I do really think that is the most effective and also balanced way to fix the problem. And by the way, if you disagree with that or any of the other changes I bring up today, that is totally cool. Everyone's got their own opinion. Feel free to share yours in the comments below, but let's keep it civil. Anyways, circling back to Ghost now, yeah, that is a very big issue that I definitely think needs solving. Ghost in no way, shape, or form should protect you if you are not moving. For a while in Call of Duty, Ghost worked all the time. It did not matter if you were full sprint or if you moved so little that dust and cobwebs started to collect on your uniform. But eventually people grew pretty tired of that, so it got changed, and Ghost would then only be active if you were moving around the map. And that's pretty much the way it's been for many years now prior to MW. But now Ghost once again allows you to stay hidden all the time, which ends up resulting in a ton of passive players sitting in their own spawn or behind a head glitch and staying off the radar, which honestly I just do not agree with. Now, if someone is able to sneak up behind me with Ghost and take me out, yeah, that sucks. I'm going to be mad that I died, but really it's just fair play because that's the exact same thing I would do. Really just more power to those players. But then when I have a UAV up and I run past a corner or a building or whatever else, and there's a dude sitting there not moving and he takes me out without me even knowing he was there because Ghost was active, that to me is a little too much of a handout. I'm sure that's probably not the most popular opinion, but hey, it's just something that I think is all too common. Another issue that I have right now is the tanks. As someone who primarily plays ground war to knock out camos and weapon levels faster, the tanks are ridiculously overpowered and broken, and arguably the biggest handouts in the entire game. The way I see it, something is typically balanced well if there's certain pros and certain cons to using it. But then when you go ahead and look at the tanks, there really aren't any cons to using them whatsoever. They give you increased protection to basically everything, they take a ton of effort to take out with launchers and nades, things like thermite or kill streaks can be a bit more effective, but their health is absurdly high. They also offer increased mobility and unlimited ammo, and a 1 or 2 shot kill at any given range. You really only become a more formidable opponent by entering a tank, and coinciding with the fact that they seem to spawn every other minute, it's just an overwhelming amount of frustration when they're abused, which is pretty often. So to combat this, I think first off we just need less tank spawns per match. Each team should only have 1 active at a time, and even then there should only be like maybe 4 that spawn in the entire game. On top of that, I think the health of the tanks could be dropped down ever so slightly, and I also think they should have limited ammo, maybe 10 shots or so before they strictly become a mobility-based vehicle. On Karst River Quarry, I also would not mind if they put up barriers to block the tanks from getting on top of the mountain, because that's also a heavily abused feature too. Next up, reverting the minimap back to showing enemies when they shoot is another change that I think needs to be made. And according to the Gaming Revolution, this is actually going to happen during the rumored overhaul update at the end of the month. So I won't elaborate too much on this point, but I do think that showing up on the radar when you shoot is going to help speed up the pace of the overall play. Battle chatter also needs to be removed completely from the enemy's point of view, and this is actually an update that IW is working on right now. And for all I know, this change could be live by the time this video goes up, but regardless, the fact that enemies hear you call out is an extremely annoying feature that is responsible for more than its fair share of my deaths. Now, this next update is something that I think pretty much the entire community would like to have, and that is some clarity on whether or not skill-based matchmaking is in the game. To be honest, at first, I really did not think there was skill-based matchmaking in the game. I felt like some matches were easy, some were a bit more difficult, but there wasn't always one or the other happening. However, the past few days on this game have become increasingly annoying, as it seems like every single lobby is a qualifier for COD champs with the enemies that I'm facing, which leads me to believe maybe there is something else determining what lobbies I'm getting into besides connection. Really, in a public match setting, connection should always be the first priority. Not really much else to say about that. Continuing on, I also think the spawns need some updating as well all around. In the 6v6 maps, the spawns seem really constant, even in modes like Team Deathmatch or Kill Confirmed. You can be spawn trapped all game long on maps like Piccadilly, and in Ground War specifically, spawning on a flag is not always ideal because while you may choose to spawn on the B flag, you end up spawning like half a mile away from the flag, it seems, in the middle of a field with no cover. So just tweaking the spawns to be more apparent of what's actually going on in the game would be a nice fix too. Another big issue in this game is the tracking problems for challenges of all variety. The missions, the camos, and everything else all seem to appear as if they're not tracking, and in some cases the tracking really is not working. And that of course is a major problem. I know all of my weapons and my camos have been showing as 0 for their level and their progress lately, despite me clearly unlocking the camos and leveling up the weapons, so that's more of a visual bug. But for the mission challenges, some of those just straight up do not track whatsoever, so I'm really hoping that gets solved here shortly. Now, the next 2 issues are totally based on my preference and my preference alone, but for my playstyle, man, I would love to see them implemented. I think there needs to be some kind of perk or field upgrade that counters fall damage first and foremost here, because I swear, despite my character being a soldier, they have the ankle and knee support of a 95-year-old who's had like 3 surgeries. I mean, I fall 4 feet and I feel like all of my health goes away immediately. Give me Commando Pro, give me something that allows me to jump without breaking an anky every time I exit a window. That's really all I'm asking for there. I also think we should see some kind of cranked game mode introduced. If you do remember cranked from COD Ghosts, it made it so that upon getting a kill, a timer would start, and once that timer hit 0, you die, and the only way to actually reset that timer was to get another kill. A cranked mode would encourage people to run around and hunt for action and enemies in order to stay alive, and I think the pace of play would increase tremendously because of it. So on the list of game modes that I want to see added in, cranked is definitely on the top. Then, finally, change number 11 I'd like to see is an update to the advanced UAV. For being one of the highest kill streaks in the entire game, it is extremely underwhelming as it lasts for such a short period of time. It feels like the counter UAV, a 4-kill streak, lasts far longer than the advanced UAV, which requires triple the amount of kills to get. So just extending the overall time of the advanced UAV, in my opinion, is a much needed change as well. Now, with all of that being said, those are 11 changes and updates that I think we need to see here in Modern Warfare. Like I said earlier, if you disagree with any of these changes, or if you have others you'd like to add, by all means, drop me a comment down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you are new here and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, including all the latest news and intel, updates and leaks, and pretty much everything else in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know when I post a new video. As always, if you would like to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. You can find all of those links down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.